We had our council meeting on Saturday, and with council, you need to report on all the matters. And I'm going to be open. At the council meeting, there was a vote of no confidence tabled in me and the vice president. And at the start of the meeting, I set the scene and I reminded all that this was council and they were the highest decision-making authority in Cycling South Africa, and they certainly needed to be very careful in terms of the decisions they make, because they determine the future and the leadership of Cycling South Africa. This motion was put forward by Mpumalanga Cycling, and when it came up for discussion, they motivated for the motion, and they mentioned quite a few things. Now, I'm very cognizant of our financial situation, and I have taken responsibility since becoming very aware of the situation. That was one of their main gripes. They spoke about the postponement of the AGM, which was postponed since November last year. And unfortunately, also at the meeting, we did not have the finalized audited financial statements, although the office and the treasurer did try. And they cited a lack of communication and no engagement with the province. I did not respond to this. I listened. I then allowed other people to make comment. And again, the same theme came through, the financial situation, as well as looking after the staff and having performance appraisals. I did not comment. Some of that wasn't true. And then another one which was quite shocking was, under my leadership, which I'm the African Track Cycling Confederation president, I organized the African Track Championships in Morocco about a week ago, and it's open to clubs, provinces, regions, and nations, because we are wanting to grow the discipline. And the allegation there was, I allowed South African cyclists to participate, not riding in the national colors. So that's a definite misunderstanding, ignorance of the rules of the CAC, African Track Championships. Again, I took that on the chin and I listened. And another contribution was a lack of communication of technical rules coming down to the provinces. Now, I did not respond to all of this, but certainly the mood was very evident that there was, people weren't happy. Although I've done everything in my power to resurrect the situation, just for the record, at my own cost last year, which was reimbursed later on, I flew to see many partners, international, national, and I negotiated relief to the tune of 1 million rand for our debt situation. None of that was taken into account. And people were adamant. I sensed the mood in the meeting that they really were adamant. They were on a mission. And also, just in terms of the allegations, communication happens on a monthly basis. We've got management committee meetings, and at each of these meetings, I give a report of the past and look ahead to the present. And that gets filtered down to the executive, to the management committee, and all the affiliates. So I am blamed for a lack of communication, although I've done my bit. The finances, yes, I take responsibility, and I've put plans in place to correct that since last year already. The issue with the track championships, that was totally inaccurate, not correct, and I cannot believe that that was a reason for trying to get me out, where I was trying to do something good for African track cycling. And also, as a result of that, South Africa qualifies riders for the World Championships, which happen next month, or next week. And as well as the African nations, Algeria and Egypt now have riders that go to the World Championships. And this was huge, because this allows our South African riders to score UCI points instead of traveling outside of Africa. So I was doing something very good for the sport, and I was basically taken to task for that. Communication of technical rules, that certainly must come from the technical commission, but again, it was seen to be my responsibility. So the mood was very hostile. Being the experienced leader I am, I detected the mood in the meeting, and I then decided that whatever I do and have done, it's not going to have any bearing on a premeditated decision that people came to the meeting with. And I therefore decided to step down in a very dignified and respectful manner. And I thank the organization for being able to lead them. And I said I'll definitely continue in the sport in other areas where my efforts will definitely be appreciated. So I left the meeting. I've resigned on that note.